Hello everyone, and as we have decided, we will discuss on a hobby which is cricket. So, what is the agenda? First of all, I'd like to tell you all that what we are trying to discuss here is how we can expect questions on cricket and how we shall prepare for cricket. Basically, everybody has some basic idea on what cricket is. तो यहाँ हमारी कोशिश ये है कि जितने भी एडिशनल पॉइंट्स हम आपस में डिस्कस करके नए ला पाए दैट वी माइट थिंक इन अ सर्टेन वे 5 या 6 या 10 लोग बात करते हैं तो यू विल गेट more ideas on it. For example, let's say if I talk about cricket, so we can either write cricket as a hobby or you might have a certificate, you will count it as extracurricular activities. So there's a difference itself कि अगर किसी ने क्रिकेट को हॉबी में डाला है या ईसीए में डाला है तो प्रिपरेशन लेवल will be different. The questions you can expect are different because hobby can be just watch cricket, but if you have played it, then it's an extracurricular activity. So you should know a bit more about it if you have played it as an extracurricular activities. So first of all, I'd like to ask any one of you if you'd like to talk about any specific thing about cricket which you feel we need to discuss.
About recent changes in the MP rules, perhaps. There's this current event about changes in events.
Okay.
The rules regarding man kidding or some changes have been done. Maybe that is one thing that I've anticipated might be asked.
Yeah, man cattling is maybe right.
Anyone else? Okay, so as we're talking about rules like on marketing and changes which have been brought, recently we have also seen that first of all we should be aware of who makes the changes. Now, what is different between MCC? What is the job of MCC and why MCC make rules? Is anyone aware why MCC has the authority to make changes in the rules?
Sir, I think it is a custom. In the beginning जो था वो MCC ही rules बना रही है. ICC overall international जो cricket affairs होता है वो देख रही है. But जो rule making जो है वो as a custom जो मेलबर्न है लंदन का वहीं से वो हो रहा है. जो custom है मेरे हिसाब से वो.
तो मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये होगा कि when we see that there are two bodies making rules for cricket, one is basically making rules about administration and the other one is about how game is played. So when you have duality in rule making, how will you run an organization efficiently? Because when we see cricket as a sport, we see there are three variants: Test, One Days and ODIs, and T20s. And at the same time, we have seen two rule-making bodies. One is deciding the rules, the other is deciding the administration. So too much divergence in a single sport, would it not lead to further and further depopularization or complexity in spreading cricket to newer markets? What is your opinion on this?
Sir, इसके लिए तो ये तो अच्छी बात है ना क्योंकि जो स्पेसिफिक फील्ड पे फोकस कर रहे हैं जैसे स्पेशलाइजेशन होगा जैसे हमारा भी अगर एक एग्जांपल सुने पार्लियामेंट और एग्जीक्यूटिव है दोनों के टास्क अलग हैं एक पार्लियामेंट है जो रूल्स बना रही है और एक एग्जीक्यूटिव है जो उसको इम्प्लीमेंटेशन वर्क जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन टास्क है वो देख रहा है तो ये कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी तो नहीं क्रिएट करेगा हाँ मे भी डिफरेंसेस हो सकते हैं कि एक दूसरा कुछ और बनाना चाह रहा हो उस जगह पे मान लो जैसे मैन कैडलिंग का ही इशू था तो इस पे काफी लॉन्ग टाइम से एक डिबेट चल रही थी कि इसको लाना चाहिए नहीं लाना चाहिए तो फाइनली अभी आया तो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंसेज हो सकते हैं बट कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज के चांसेस थोड़ा कम लग रहे हैं मुझे
Anyone else? Okay, anyone else wants to make any point on this?
I guess a specialized body is better able to try out various things because these rules before making them a rule they are being tried and tested in various games as well, domestic leagues and etc. So a specialized body can overview these rules. So maybe that makes a good point as to why we need a different set of bodies for administration and rule making.
Okay. So
if I don't have a counterpoint, but I'd like to hear a counterpoint as well.
Look, there's one counterpoint in that whole Mankading debate was around spirit of game, right? Spirit of cricket. So when a rule is going against the spirit of the game, then why do you have that rule at first place?
Yeah. So the Mankading ka counterpoint is that if a runner, the non-striker, is using that crease perhaps and he makes through the other side just by smaller margin, it is not good for the bowler as well if he's misusing it. So it's not a bad thing. I mean, we could have one warning and then maybe give them a run out if he misuses his stance as well.
But the point is you don't give the warning to the bowlers, right? in any game, if you say something is against the spirit of the game, it means it is something which creates discredit to the game. So if you have something which is not in the spirit, then how it can be legal?
बट आई डोंट थिंक सर इट इज अगेंस्ट द स्पिरिट ऑफ द गेम.
Okay.
स्पिरिट तो यही हुई ना कि एक बैट्समैन की एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि जब तक बॉलर बॉल नहीं फेंक रहा है तब तक उसको क्रीज नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए. तो दैट शुड बी द स्पिरिट ऑफ द गेम. ये स्पिरिट के अगेंस्ट नहीं है, ये स्पिरिट के ही अंदर है. बस जस्ट उसको हम अभी रिकॉग्नाइज कर रहे हैं, सिंपल से है, फॉर्मली रिकॉग्नाइज किया जा रहा है.
So नहीं, बेसिक जो डिबेट है उसको अगर हम जो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आती है पहले, that some people consider it not as a part of spirit of the game, some consider it as a spirit, as the part of spirit of game. तो अब spirit of the game
Yeah.
plus rules of the game एक साइड पे आ गए, क्योंकि अब तो ये क्लियरली आप कर सकते हैं, चीजें
हाँ.
आसान हो गई है मांकडिंग को लेके. Another point
हाँ, yes, sir.
regarding this, we have heard that it is called mankading. Running
Yeah.
out a batsman is called mankading. Would you really associate
Yeah.
the name of a cricketer with something which is against spirit of the game? Would you like to
Yes.
associate something?
Not really.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I guess वो person का नाम खराब करना just because marketing itself is a debatable issue.
So do you know the full name of the person?
सर हाँ सर, एक्चुअली मेरा पॉइंट ये है यहाँ पे, एक्चुअली
sir
यहाँ पे
ने
नाम को
वीनू मांकड़.
हाँ डिफेम नहीं किया जा रहा है.
हाँ.
ये जो है ना मैन किल्डिंग वाला, वो डिफेम नहीं किया जा रहा. वहाँ पे 2% थे, एक बॉलर था जो स्टार्टिंग हुई थी और एक बैट्समैन था. तो यहाँ पे बॉलर का ही नाम लिया जा रहा है ताकि उसको अप्रिसिएशन के लिए, मान लो उसको रिकॉग्नाइज किया जा रहा है, ना कि उसको डिफेम. अगर डिफेम होता तो बैट्समैन का नाम लिखा जाता है इसकी जगह पे. तो यहाँ पे डिफेम नहीं किया जा रहा है बॉलर को, जबकि इसको रिकॉग्निशन मिल रहा है थ्रू द फॉर्मल लॉज.
बट
ये है.
वीनू मांकड़ की फैमिली ने कहा था कि वी वुड नॉट लाइक दिस टू बी एसोसिएटेड विद,
वो पॉइंट
you should add it ना. और अगर अब वीनू मांकड़ का बात आई है एंड इसको लीगलाइज किया गया है, इसमें एक और पॉइंट है स्पिरिट ऑफ द गेम पे जब हम बात कर रहे हैं. सो देयर इज आल्सो कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ड्रीम 11 जिस पे क्वेश्चन भी आया था कि वी आर सीइंग मोर एंड मोर गेम्स लाइक दिस. सो बिफोर गोइंग इनटू दिस, कोई ऐसा है जो क्रिकेट खेल रहा हो किसी लेवल पे, ऑन मतलब ऑन डिस्ट्रिक्ट और एनी लेवल, बिकॉज देन एवरीबडी नोज कि हमें कुछ चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. दे माइट जस्ट आस्क अबाउट द डायमेंशन ऑफ द बॉल, dimension of the bat, what is the length of bat, how much weight a ball might have. So
I have a question. ये इतना factually चीजें याद रखना, is it necessary?
no, it is not exactly too much. So you can just say कि it's like 38 inches and ball is like I guess 9 inches maximum circumference. You need to know just two things, like bat कितना लंबा है. So you just know two things, that's it. You can say we don't exactly know ki how much is the width, but at least you can remember these two things, that a bat has broadly can't be more than 838 inches and a ball has to be maximum circumference of 9 inch. And obviously you must know ki the pitch is of 22 yards. So they can ask about the popping trees. So you can write about 2.22 and 2.22. It is just four things. So because you might have 3 or 4 hobbies, right? So per hobby you might expect at least you should prepare at least 10 questions now. So it is doable, I guess. Because and there's I have a question that how many, can you please tell me the difference between game and sports? Is cricket a sport or is it a game?
I guess it's a bit of a both. I don't know the difference between a game and a sport. Maybe a game is maybe something emotionally attached with it, or sports is just ऐसा कुछ है difference?
No. There's a basic difference. किसी को पता है what is the difference between game and a sport? So look, the basic difference in game and sport is sports, मतलब there's no a well defined thing in this, but if you look on website you will see कि Cambridge Oxford की definition है, the sport is something which has some physical attribute and game is something which is a mental attribute mostly to it. So in a sport you have something physical going on, then you call it a sport, like football, hockey, cricket. And chess or ludo is not a sport, it's a game, because you are using your mental facilities to play it. And games are not often, games can be anything, you can play with stones, it's a game. But when you have a competitiveness, an edge and a reward with something physical going on, then it's a sport. So cricket is considered a sport also when you look at these points. So you can always use your mind, okay, is it part of Olympics? So Olympic games, it is not Olympic sports, right? Why it's Olympic games and not Olympic sports? Why is cricket not part of Olympics? So when you say is it a game, so it should be part of Olympics as well. And to further elaborate on this point, we can say that if you look at Olympics, you have things like boating, rowing, And you sometimes you don't see rowing as a sport. You see it's not even a game. Some people might not consider it. You have butterfly strokes and different games, like even beatboxing is not being considered as a game, might be considered as a game, or rapping. So these are not sports. So there's a difference between sport and a game. और दोनों में क्या हम differentiate कर सकते हैं, that we must be very clear about. Also on this point itself, कि sports games, we know the difference now, and we can more or less say it's a sport. Okay, but is a sport?
Sir,
Okay, हाँ बोलिए.
going by this definition, there might be a controversy because Olympic Games, they do have hockey, football, and all such physical activities, which by our definition form part of sports, and they are included in Olympic Games. So is this, I mean, can we defend it in front of panel that sports contain physical activities while game is more of a mental process?
So when we say about game might also include sports. It's a more umbrella term. What I'm saying, there's no defined definition ki this is sport and this is game. But if you just look at the websites, they will define it like this. So uska solution ये हो सकता है that you are saying that it is sport, then how it's a part of Olympic Games. But Olympic Games are games which might be physical or might not be as well. क्योंकि कई ऐसी गेम्स हैं जो कि फिजिकल, जिनमें सीधा इंटरेक्शन नहीं होता. Chess might later on get added into Olympics. So Ludo is a game. It's not a sport. So ये definition वहाँ पे काम कर रही है. But when we say Asian Games, so in Asian Games you have a whole umbrella जिसके अंदर अलग games और sports भी part है. So not necessarily, it is not a delineating term. ये sports मतलब ये नहीं है कि game है तो वो ज़्यादा physical होगी, physical हो ही नहीं सकती. कुछ games ऐसी होती है जो थोड़ी सी physical होती है. For example, if you play chess physically in front of one person, you might sometimes castle or move pieces. So वहाँ भी कोई कह सकता है ना कि chess is physical because there are two people sitting around. But you can play chess on your laptop as well. You can't play cricket on your laptop. We see e-games, right? E-games का भी अब अलग competition होता है. Like you have PUBG and all these, they have their own competitions. So they are e-games and not e-sports. अब वहाँ भी term आ रहा है e-sports. एक नया emergence हो रही है e-sports के बारे में. So we must be prepared that what is e-sport, what is e-gaming, how it is different from basic concept of gaming or sports as we see it. So ये चीजें हम define कर सकते हैं. और इसमें एक पॉइंट और है कि जो मैं स्पोर्ट्स गेम्स की बात कर रहा, जो पॉइंट जहां से स्टार्ट हुआ था, दैट व्हाट डू यू गाइस थिंक अबाउट, लेट्स से समथिंग ड्रीम 11, व्हाट इज बैटिंग एंड व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस फैंटेसी लीग, हाउ विल यू डिफाइन द डिफरेंस?
सर एक बार रिपीट करेंगे क्वेश्चन.
क्या डिफरेंस है फैंटेसी लीग्स में और बैटिंग में? हाउ विल यू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन फैंटेसी लीग्स एंड बैटिंग, और आर फैंटेसी लीग्स अ सॉर्ट ऑफ बैटिंग और दे आर नॉट?
So fantasy leagues are different from betting because fantasy leagues do have certain strategies that people look up to. Like while selecting players, they look up to past performances, the strategies in terms of the playing 11 that fits right. So there is some sort of analyzing strength that requires in a fantasy league. Perhaps betting, there's no such thing as analyzing. There's your luck factor. So maybe that's the difference between fantasy league and betting.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone else?
सर जैसा कि बेटिंग का है, मेरा मानना है कि फैंटेसी लीग बेटिंग का ही एक रूप है. बट बेटिंग में होता है कि टोटली रैंडम होता है गेम, दो लोगों के बीच में है, पैसा लगाया. और क्योंकि फैंटेसी में भी एक प्रकार से हम इन्वेस्ट ही करते हैं, कुछ पैसा लगाते हैं, लेकिन वहां पे रेंडमनेस थोड़ी कम है क्योंकि हम एक टीम सेलेक्ट करते हैं, अपने माइंड का प्रयोग करते हैं, तो वहां पे उस हिसाब से थोड़ा चेंज हो जाता है. बट मुझे लगता है उसी का एक पार्ट है, बेटिंग का ही एक पार्ट.
ओके, कोई और पॉइंट इस पे किसी का हो?
सर मुझे भी यही लगता है कि फैंटेसी लीग इज आल्सो काइंड ऑफ बैटिंग. It may not necessarily fit completely into the definition of betting as far as the randomness is concerned, but the very fact that when you see these ads, there is a disclaimer that they give at the end of the ad, and they say that it can be addictive and all sort of things that they are saying at the end of the advertisement. I feel that it may be a sort of betting if we go strictly by the definition.
Okay, so I'd just like to point out two things here. First of all, that we have to look at how it is defined. Now, as per the sports bodies of Sport Authority of India, if they are betting or some sort of betting, they will not be allowed. So legally speaking, they don't consider it as a part of betting. They consider it as a game. Why they're considering it as a game is there's a basic difference between betting and a fantasy league or games like this. Is it completely luck based or is it talent based? So when you see something like Dream 11 or MPL or whatever it is, वहां पे करना क्या होता है? You have to choose your team, but you have to look at how well someone is performing. What are the chances of someone scoring more against this and this bowler? It means you are taking into consideration, you are making a strategy, you are using your talent of analyzing how people are performing and how they might perform. So it's part of prediction which is talent based, not completely on luck factor. But when you see betting is like, okay, you're putting a card out of a random deck. That's like it's completely on luck factor. So betting is basically more on luck, and betting is illegal because when you bet and then you want to ensure that that person performs that way like you have betted, because कोई उसके पीछे आपने पहले लॉजिक नहीं लगाया कि मान लो ये बैट्समैन जीरो बनाएगा, you don't know why he will make a zero. When you pick a Dream 11, you pick 11 players and you analyze it properly. So that's the basic difference between betting and your fantasy games. And fantasy game across the world are not considered as a part of betting phenomena. Like in India right now, fantasy leagues even sponsor, your teams, they sponsor your organizations. So अगर आप सीधा blatantly कह देंगे it is like betting, so you might be asked that, okay, if it is betting, why a sports authority of India, which has said that betting is not legal in India, allowing such bodies to run such companies to sponsor cricket teams? Or is it ethical for a cricketer or a player to be brand ambassador of an organization or a company like Dream 11 or MPL? What is your answer on that? Considering कि आपने बोला कि ये betting है, तो वहां फिर आप उसको कैसे defend करोगे? No, let's say if you've said this, now, so do you have any points on that? That if you say it's part of it is betting. So how will you defend a cricketer being a brand ambassador or something like that? Okay, so I think we might just stick to the other point that it's not betting because Sports Authority is not saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is one point, and another point which I felt is very important is like about rules, about the spirit of the game we talked about. It's also about, can anyone of you tell me who is the women's ODI captain, women's ODI cricket team captain?
I think there's a split captaincy.
ODI is Mithali Raj,
Okay,
and
Mithali Raj.
T20, I think they have given it to Harmanpreet Kaur.
Harmanpreet Kaur. Okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
So do you think there is parity in cricket?
As far as the salaries and other perks are concerned, the parity is not there.
Okay,
Maybe the popularity of female cricketers is not that much or visibility is not that much as it is as far as the male cricketers are concerned. But BCCI is also taking steps to promote the women's cricket. They are arranging matches before IPL, and then there are talks that women IPL also may be started. So we are moving into the direction, but as on today, parity is not there.
do you support it?
Support of what? Like, I support females cricket, I
No,
follow it.
Do you think that this disparity is genuine?
No, disparity is not desirable.
Okay.
Even females, I mean, they are exhibiting their talent. They have reached 2017 Women's ODI World Cup final, 2019, sorry, 20 T20 final also. So they are also putting their best foot forward in the limited venues that are available to them. So I feel we have to move forward into this direction of bringing parity.
So Pankaj, can you tell me basically any sport where there is parity? Even in football and hockey, we don't see parity. Is there any sport where?
Sir, as far as I mean the parity between male and female sports persons are concerned, I guess as of now it is difficult to say that there is parity in anywhere. Maybe even in football or in certain sports like badminton, we may say that female athletes are paid as well as male athletes. But this physical sports like football, intense physical sports like football, cricket, hockey, we have yet to cross that bridge to bring parity.
So do you think it is possible at all?
Uh, I think, can I?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I think the IC and both needs to take a stand. In order to have a parity, perhaps the marketing also of women's cricket needs increased. The number of matches played, the number of competitions played. There's no way. There's a lot of gap between men's cricket and women's cricket in that aspect. Perhaps the marketing, the sponsors, this eventually creates an environment where women get paid more. Uh, so not just about the aspect of monetary, but also about the number of competitions that needs to be increased. Number of teams participating needs to be increased. So in that aspect, ICC and BCCI also has to work together, and other cricket associations to create that market for women's cricket, perhaps.
Oh, there's additional point I would like to make here. You have made some valid points that you can give an example, basically, like which is the most extreme physical sport you can think of? Give me an example.
फुटबॉल,
Kabaddi, kushti, this wrestling, and
Okay.
this boxing.
Name one extreme physical sport.
I'll say wrestling.
Okay. Yeah, exactly what that I was waiting for. In wrestling, you have Ronda Rousey, right? She was earning more than male wrestlers at one point of time. Why? Because she was able to attract more, viewers than her male counterparts. She has on record spoken that getting paid more because people are ready to watch me. They come to watch me. So you can quote her that we can see even in extreme sport like wrestling, Ronda Rousey is making big bucks. So it is not necessary if it's an extreme sport, women can't really attract viewers. It is just that they are not being marketed properly, as he was very rightly pointing out, and they are not given the opportunities. So Ronda Rousey is a very good example. So and recently we can even take the example of Harmanpreet Kaur. She played a great inning. You can say Alyssa Perry of Australia. She has won everything in the world, and I believe she's a better cricketer than any male cricketer around because she can bowl, she can bat, and she can field so well. So there are few names you can use basically later to defend if you get any such thing. Also, one point very important as we have discussed these things, that what about corruption in cricket? Do you think there's corruption in cricket?
Uh, since past few instances, whereas we could cite the CSK ban for 2 years, maybe was gambling. There was then another instances where there's notorious candidates. Nepotism is also there in state cricket associations. Perhaps that is one point we could cite as an example where corruption exists in cricket.
To be more specific, you are talking about spot fixing, match fixing,
Yeah.
and your nepotism,
Yeah.
or any other point you can think of in corruption.
Probably I'm not sure about the exact details, but the LODA committee recommendations have not been implemented in true substance. Perhaps there's a lapse of governance as well.
Yeah,
maybe that's one point we could discuss.
Conflict of interest in almost every administrative body of cricket. There is administrative malfeasance we are witnessing in areas of funding, and also there is huge gap in terms of pay of state cricketers and center cricketers or contracted cricketers. Also, there's not much support for cricketers who are not part of your centrally important circuits. For example, cricket teams of Northeast, they are not getting paid properly, and we have seen recently that women cricketers were not paid for 2 years by BCCI. Centrally sponsored cricketers were not paid. When Telegraph, I guess, in UK put a report that the Indian women cricketers are not paid, then they were paid. In lockdown, they were not paid for 1 year almost. So these things are there, the issues. And what are your recommendations on controlling corruption in sports? So I would recommend you guys that at least go through what were the LODA Commission's recommendations, a basic summary. We might provide you that, but I will recommend you guys to have a look at that, because then you'll be more prepared to answer that specific question. And another point I'd like to ask you: how do you think cricket helps you as a person or as an individual? What you learn from cricket, and why do you enjoy cricket?
Basically, cricket is a team sport. uh, you learn from cricket that uh, a good work culture in an organization for civil service is also important. So each one of us part of a chain. So a team sport gives you that perspective of maintaining a good work culture in any organization that you want. That is one thing that we could talk about.
Anything else?
यस सर सर क्रिकेट हमें रैंडमनेस सिखाता है टॉस भी रैंडम है और पूरा मैच किसी भी डायरेक्शन में जा सकता है और लाइफ में भी ऐसा हो सकता है कि हमारी लाइफ अप एंड डाउन किसी भी डायरेक्शन में जा सकती है तो ये सीखने को मिलता है और सर इसके अतिरिक्त क्रिकेट हमें ये सिखाता है कि सिचुएशन के अकॉर्डिंग हमें हैंडल करना है अगर मान लीजिए 10 विकेट हाथ में है तो फिर हम अटैकिंग मोड में जा सकते हैं और पावर प्ले में ही 3-4 विकेट चले गए तो फिर हमें डिफेंसिव होना पड़ता है और ऐसी रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस भी आती हैं में हमें सिचुएशन के अकॉर्डिंग करना पड़ता है तो सर ये दूसरी चीज में क्रिकेट से हम सीखते हैं
और कोई पॉइंट?
सर फोर्थ सर फिजिकल एक्टिविटी का जो जनरली हमको जो एडवांटेज देता है उसके द्वारा जो हमारी फिजिकल हेल्थ मेंटेन रहती है सजेस्ट किया जा सकता है जनरली हम प्रेफर नहीं करते हैं बट क्रिकेट के थ्रू हम उसको भी इम्प्रूव करते रहते हैं अपनी फिजिकल हेल्थ को भी कॉम्बिनेट करते हैं और सर एक पॉइंट और सबसे अच्छा ये रहता है क्रिकेट में जो टीम स्पिरिट होते हैं और इसके अलावा उसमें क्या होता है सर जैसे होता है कि कई सिचुएशंस ऐसी होती हैं जो एकदम से हमारी विपरीत जा रही होती हैं तो वहां पे एक टीम आके जो पूरा एक रुझान होता है टीम आके पूरा जो एक संभालता है मान लो एंगल की जगह जो है हैंकर की तरह काम करता है मान लो तो वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट होता है कि हम सीखते हैं कि एक पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन को कैसे हैंडल करना है विद द हेल्प ऑफ द ऑल पीपल सबको एक लेके चलते हुए कैसे करना है
Bonding and brotherhood, basically.
हाँ बॉन्डिंग एंड ब्रदरहुड
So, Pankaj, would you like to add something on this?
How to handle unforeseen circumstances
Okay.
and on the spot quick thinking. That is also what we see in sports, especially in cricket. Because if you remember in 2007 T20 World Cup final, the last over was given to Joginder Singh by MS Dhoni when nobody was expecting this. So that was also, I mean, it shows that when your plan A does not work, you need to fall back to your plan B. So that is also one of the things that cricket teaches us.
Well, very good. There's one point I guess you have missed.
हाँ सर
हाँ बोलिए.
हाँ चलिए सर आप बताइए इसके बाद एक क्वेश्चन ऐसा पूछते हैं
ठीक है इसमें एक पॉइंट जो सब मिस कर रहे थे इट्स लीडरशिप नो none of you talked about it and I think
Yeah.
yesterday
कैप्टन
MS Dhoni retired from CSK's captaincy. So leadership is the most prominent thing which I see in cricket, which teaches us when you play cricket, you don't have to be the captain even. A leader, when you are bowling as a bowler, for the next 6 ball, you are the leader of the team. You decide the fate of the match. Next 6 balls, no other player can decide. If you're a batsman, you're playing as a batsman. So it's a team sport, but still at moments, you alone are responsible for the destiny of the whole team. So that is a specific thing in cricket कि ये team sport है पर individual is always a very important factor. It will act as a individual sport as well. And जो example बड़ा अच्छा दिया था that randomness और इसका कि unforeseen circumstances का and on the spot thinking. I'd like to add that when you talk about team spirit or when you talk about team bonding, you can give very good example of the last Border Gavaskar Trophy when Indian team was not at all fit. There were players falling like pins, and even then a second grade or third grade Indian cricket team defeated the topmost team in the world, which is Australia, which shows that if you have team bonding, team spirit and a structure in place, then you can do wonders. So that's a good example. Leadership, obviously you have many examples. You can give example of MS Dhoni, young team. You can give examples of Steve Waugh, who had a system which produced cricketers which were like stars. And then you can give example for physical activity. You can give example of Virat Kohli, a person who really revolutionized Indian sporting cricket industry because he pushed for that physical transformation, which ended up creating more fitter and more greater cricketers with more athletic skills. And finally, on the point of let's say this aspect of cricket as a sport wherein you have something where you call that it never ends, like in test cricket it never ends, in the sense the fight is not over in 50 minutes or let's say in 30 minutes. Other sports like football, hockey, you have one session, the game is over. In 2 halves, the game is over. You can give example of test cricket where perseverance is tested. Like as a leader, as an administrator, you're supposed to work in a place where you don't know how long you will play or how long you will serve. And certain times you don't know कि ये decision कितना काम करेगा नहीं करेगा, but you still carry on doing the stuff because you believe in the system, in the process. Similarly in test cricket we see that perseverance to go back one day feeling dejected, like 76 all out India was 36 all out in India was like completely dejected. Next test they played again for next 5 days and won it. So it is like वो aspects जो है ना, with every quality which you're quoting, you should have an example with that. And I would like to ask one other thing, that who is your favorite cricketer and why?
सर MS धोनी,
Okay, and why?
बिकॉज सर किसी भी सिचुएशन में वो बिल्कुल कूल काम कंपोज रहते हैं, कभी भी पैनिक नहीं करते हैं, और जब मैच को एकदम लास्ट तक खींचते हैं और जब सब पैनिक करने लगते हैं उस टाइम पे वो मैच निकाल ले जाते हैं।
आदर्श मेरा आपसे सवाल है इससे, क्या आप सहमत है कि जो उनकी टीम पे 2 साल का बैन लगा था और एक एनवेलप वाला केस है, सो हम कंसिडर नहीं करते कि ऐसा क्वेश्चन आएगा, बट लेट्स से एनीवेज इफ समवन आस्क्स यू अबाउट कि जो उनके ऊपर आरोप हैं कि उनकी टीम संलिप्त थी करप्शन में, दिस एंड दैट, हाउ विल यू डिफेंड दैट?
सर क्योंकि ये आरोप ही हैं, बट इसकी कोई अभी ऑथेंटिक जांच या ऐसा कुछ सामने आया नहीं है। आरोप लगे हुए हैं तो हम कह सकते हैं जब तक मामला कोर्ट या उसके माध्यम से वेरीफाई नहीं हो जाता तब तक हमें उसको इग्नोर करना चाहिए या ऑफिशियल जांच के लिए जाना चाहिए। तब तक हम किसी को उसके लिए डिफेम नहीं कर सकते कि किसी पर आरोप लगे हैं इस वजह।
तो कोई ऐसी क्वालिटी महेंद्र सिंह धोनी की जो अपनी लाइफ में अडॉप्ट करी हो, या आपको लगता है एज एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हम सबको अडॉप्ट करनी चाहिए?
सर मैंने जैसा कि पहले ही बताया कि जो कूल एंड काम उनका है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। यूपीएससी एग्जाम में भी काम आता है, मुझे लगता है लाइफ में भी काम आता है। हमें किसी भी सिचुएशन में कूल एंड काम रहना सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट लगता है, तो मेरा यही मानना है।
और कोई?
सर मेरी फेवरेट क्रिकेटर जो है मैग लेनिंग है। शी इज ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेट टीम कैप्टन. She leads by example. She puts team over her own records. And the fitness level that she has maintained all through the years, she is like not only breaking the records but also rewriting how the game should be played with the spirit as well as in the competitiveness.
So Bangalore is a very good example where you can also showcase that you are more inclusive in your understanding. But the point is, I hope you are well prepared with questions on women cricket.
Yes.
Often we miss that aspect.
सर यही पे एक क्वेश्चन था सर मेरा एक। हेलो। हाँ सर, मुझे खेलना पसंद है क्रिकेट, मैं क्रिकेट देखता नहीं हूँ बिल्कुल भी नहीं, तो मुझे उतनी जानकारी नहीं है क्रिकेट का, तो उसके लिए मुझे किस लेवल का, जैसे मैंने लिखा भी है तो ऐसा करके सूची में डाल दिया मैंने प्लेइंग क्रिकेट, बट मुझे उतनी अवेयरनेस नहीं है क्रिकेट में जो चल रहा है, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव जैसे जो नए नए रूल्स आते रहते हैं, कुछ चेंजेस होता है वो जानकारी है, बट किसी रिकॉर्ड को लेके या किसी को जो कहाँ पे कौन सा मैच चल रहा है इसकी कोई जानकारी नहीं है।
नहीं, आई गेस ये क्वेश्चन एक बार किसी से पूछा भी गया था, एक क्वेश्चन पूछा भी गया था, उन्होंने यही जवाब दिया था दैट आई लाइक टू प्ले क्रिकेट बट आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ रीसेंट चेंजेस बिकॉज आई वाज टू मच ऑक्यूपाइड विद डूइंग माय अदर स्टफ। मतलब आपकी प्रायोरिटी तो ऑब्वियसली क्रिकेट नहीं है ना, क्रिकेटर तो नहीं, सो इट कैन बी वेरी वैलिड एक्सक्यूज दैट आई लव टू प्ले, बट एज व्हेन यू प्ले, यू अगर आप खेलते हैं तो आपको कुछ चीजें पता होनी चाहिए, फिर वो बेसिक्स पता होनी चाहिए कि बैट की लेंथ क्या होती है, थोड़ी बहुत चीजें
ये सब चीजें हैं, बस थोड़ा सा रिकॉर्ड है ना कि रिकॉर्ड कैसे कौन सा रहा, वो सब कुछ हमको नहीं जानकारी।
वो तो फिर बदलता रहता है ना, आप जब तक इंटरव्यू का हो सकता है कोई और शतक मार दे अगले दिन आके 300 रन बना दे, तो इट्स ऑलवेज इन फ्लक्स, तो यू कांट बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट। हाँ, मेरे हिसाब से ये आप आंसर कर सकते हैं, हमने देखा भी है, पहले भी कई लोगों ने आंसर किया है ऐसा कि आई प्ले क्रिकेट, आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द रूल्स। समटाइम्स कुछ कहते हैं आई ओनली वॉच, आई डोंट प्ले, सो आई एम नॉट अवेयर अबाउट सर्टेन थिंग्स लाइक if there are 14 men to chase. हालांकि ऐसे क्वेश्चन तो आते नहीं, रिसेंटली कभी देखे नहीं गए। I guess it's a valid excuse for that.
Should I say the answer to your previous question?
Yeah, sure.
Perhaps Kohli for his work ethic, अपने हाथ में जो भी पैरामीटर्स है उसका ध्यान रखना on a regular basis and sustain for a long time. Maybe that is something civil services, maybe as a civil servant को work ethic भी काफी अच्छा रहना चाहिए. Maybe that is one thing.
What regarding Kohli, I have another question that aggression in cricket. We have seen Indian team being more aggressive over the years under his leadership, basically.
Not audible.
No, we are also witnessing one thing regarding Kohli, that he made India into a more aggressive outfit. So do you
Yeah.
do you really like this new aggressive side of cricket, or do you think this much aggression is not good for India?
Aggression of perhaps Kohli is limited to the sport. A limited amount of aggression. Cricket is also a psychological game. Uh, the sledging in a non-personalized manner does affect the batsman, and in a way that is not harmful for the sport if channelized properly. It makes the sport more competitive, and maybe I look at it in a positive way. The aggression, it is basically Kohli's aggression that made India win the Border Gavaskar Trophy, as you rightly pointed out. Maybe it's his aggression that percolated down his teammates, even if he was not there.
Uh, yeah, it's a very fair answer. I'd just like to point out one other thing, that you can also say that aggression, when channelized properly, without doing any harm to someone, and in limits, is always welcome, because in games which are very physical, and a game like cricket which lasts for 5 days, you need to have that spirit in you to sustain. So it's very good to have that, and every cricketer has some sort of aggression. It's not necessarily, aggression is not only when you shout or sledge. Aggression is even when you go ahead and bowl faster and faster, and you hit faster and faster, or more score faster and faster. So these sort of things are there. And you can say even Pujara is an aggressive player, though he's very defensive, he takes a lot of time, but that's a different sort of aggression. So yeah, there's one or two lines I'd just like to add. Apart from that, it's a good answer. I think it's enough. So yeah, anything else on cricket, because we have already discussed for 40-45 minutes.
Uh,
One thing I would like to ask is, I have stated my hobby as watching and playing cricket. I play cricket occasionally, but I haven't represented the state or my college or anywhere. I just play it as a hobby. So would that be held against me that I play cricket but I could not go forward or I did not reach places, something like this?
But now you were playing cricket as a hobby, and you are preparing for civil services. So finally, you are at the interview panel. You would thing which you were taking seriously. You have excelled in that. So you're not supposed to excel in everything which you do in life. Like for example, people say that we do gardening as a hobby. So it doesn't mean that they will have a Sundarbans in their backyard, na? So
Yes, sir. Yes.
so I don't think it can be held against you that you are not a grade A cricketer right now. But yeah, if you know, if you play cricket, even occasionally, you should be aware of few things, like why you play cricket and who's your favorite cricketer, like who won the World
Yes,
Cup.
all those things I am quite clear about. Only thing is because I don't have achievements as such in cricket, so that is what.
That's why I asked me. You count it as a hobby, not an extracurricular activity.
Yes, it
Then
is
you
an
have to show
hobby only.
yeah, then you show certificates. Now, whatever hobby you have, let's say someone plays chess, or someone do painting, so they are not MF Hussain now, basically. So they just paint in their spare time. So obviously, it's a hobby, so you are doing it to pass your time.
True.
So I think that's fair enough. You are not selected as a cricketer. I don't think it will held against you.
so the questions could be opinion based more or factual
I
based
think
more.
it's really more opinion based, as we have seen in the previous transcripts, that they have specifically asked, whenever they ask questions about your on your opinion, like let's say on women cricket or on corruption or things we have talked about, that because sometimes you have to answer on the spot because your opinion on that particular thing. On cricket, obviously, we all watch cricket, and we are all aware about things which are happening. So I guess more, if you're honest, it's good for you, because things I will not go against you if you express yourself. You don't have to be politically correct here, as far as I can see. You can be yourself. You're
In
smart enough
fact,
to. Uh-huh.
yes, in fact, on factual questions, if they are asked factual questions on cricket, you can safely say no, that you don't know.
Yeah.
But if your opinion is sought, then you have to have some opinion if it is your hobby. This is what I feel.
Surely. I know the most important part, as you said, is very importantly that how it helps you in, because of what is the job of a hobby? What a hobby does? Hobby gives you peace of the mind. You go to a hobby when you want to have some leisure. In your leisure, you do that activity. So it means that activity helps you mentally, it helps you physically, it rejuvenates you. So how it is rejuvenating, you should be very clear about that. कि भाई क्रिकेट खेल के क्यों मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है. जैसे हमने बोला कि क्रिकेट खेलने के बाद आई फील लाइक या आई हैव एक्सप्रेस माई सेल्फ, आई हैव learn things like leadership, team spirit. We share our happiness, share our successes. You go there, you take a wicket, you celebrate your friends, you feel the moment. So things which we feel on the cricket ground is basically the reason we are playing that game for or that sport for, because we are not centrally contracted players. We are not cricketers professionals. Why we are playing? We are playing for the sake of the joy which it gives to us. So we should be very clear कि वो joy factor क्या है, why and how we are getting it, and why cricket is special to you. And that is all. I feel that is how we should look at our hobbies. They will eventually not give us medals and memorias or mementos, but at least they will give us moments which we really rejoice. So it can be painting something or batting or bowling or fielding, even that.
De-stressing.
Yeah, de-stressing, very important. De-stressing. Take it, you sleep well at night. Things like that. I think the reason for the session was not that I'll tell you that how what is the width of bat and what is cricket and how we play cricket. It is just about how we express our opinions and points which we can learn from each other. Like I felt good that all of us had similar views on cricket, because cricket is basically a safe sport right now for Indians at least. But yeah, we got one or two additional points which, if we are asked, we might have in our arsenal to support our answers or opinions. I think the session, I believe, might help you. And
It was fruitful. In fact, the discussion on gaming, these online games, this My Cricket 11, and all these things were very helpful. And as the discussion on corruption was also good. So that is one angle which I was missing. So that is, I think, that is going to help if they ask on Board committee recommendations and all such things.
I will also recommend you one thing, that you will get material value. They will give you some basic details on cricket and this and that. But I would recommend that you should look at 3 or 4 factors on cricket as a sport, not cricket as you play cricket. Cricket compared to, let's say, other sports. That why cricket is not part of Olympic. So is T20 real cricket or test real cricket? Because cricket purist will say T20 is not real form of cricket. So you should be prepared for that. Like IPL is, some people say it's a hub of corruption. It's a hub of, you can say, they have changed cricket as a form of entertainment rather than a sport. So you should have some idea of that as well. Is IPL entertainment from purely, or it's a sport? So then how will you answer that? It's very simple. You can give example of EPL. You can give example of like La Liga games. Like what are they? They are renowned in the world. People wake up whole night to watch matches. So they are leagues. They also sell budgetines. They are considered as sport games, and they are considered as legendary games. So El Clasico happened just a week ago. So everybody wakes up and watches Real Madrid versus Barcelona. So similarly, we can have a CSK versus MI. It's not necessarily entertainment. So it's the way sports is shaping up in cricket. Cricket is a bit late to it. Other games were earlier. So वो dimension भी होना चाहिए, and then how it's different from other sports. That is what makes it unique. Because I don't really enjoy a game like football, though I watch it, as much as cricket. Why? Because I have the variety in cricket. That okay, if I want to see a 5th-day test match, or I want to just sit here and have instead of watching a movie, I can watch an IPL match. So that variety also makes cricket special for me. So you can have some of your own observations about that game, and that can be honest. Like some people like one-day cricket because they have emotional connect to Sachin Tendulkar. Because all of us, when we were growing, we watched Tendulkar or Kohli and these players. We watch cricket because of those personalities, and we can say that as well, because honestly, that is how our observations and our love towards a game grows. And later on, we also got to know about other things. कि, okay, cricket में ये भी है, but eventually तो सचिन मार रहा था, छक्के चौके सहवाग मार रहा है, इसलिए हम देख रहे हैं. So from there, the first love was that, and then we grow up with cricket more and more. So I think these things you can work around, which will help in framing more opinion on this. I guess that was enough. Or is there any other point you guys want to talk about?
सर टेक्नोलॉजीज जो यूज हो रही हैं क्रिकेट में, इसके थोड़ा सा
DRS is an important point. So
yes sir, yes.
So do you think using technology will be counterproductive, because sports should be natural, ऐसा लोग कहते हैं? What's your opinion on that?
सर टेक्नोलॉजीज ने, मेरा मानना है कि और आसान बनाया है क्रिकेट को. हाँ, कुछ नेचुरल चीजें प्रभावित होती हैं, क्योंकि ऑन फील्ड अंपायर जो डिसीजन देते हैं उससे कई बार डिफर कर जाता है. बट मेरा मानना है टेक्नोलॉजी ने और बेटर बनाया है इसको, और काफी फेयर होने के चांसेस और बढ़ गए हैं. कोई मिस्टेक ना हो जाए, इस सिचुएशन में काफी अच्छा रहा. टेक्नोलॉजी ने हेल्प की है.
कोई और पॉइंट किसी का?
It basically reduces ambiguity of decision, makes the sport more competitive, allows for more strategic thinking as well. If you say DRS, taking DRS calls at the right time is also a part of a strategy that captains do work upon. So technology has been an aiding factor perhaps in any sport, and I don't see a downside to it. Maybe.
So any of you sees any downside in technology?
डाउन साइड से टेक्नोलॉजी भी 100% श्योर नहीं होती है, मान लो कभी कभी उसमें भी एरर्स आ जाती हैं, तो वो एक डाउन साइड है। अदरवाइज जहां भी देखा जाए तो जो भी नेचुरल चीजें थी या अंपायर का डिसीजन था, तो उसने कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया है, कुछ ऐड किया है, कुछ खराब नहीं है। तो समहाउ कि फेयर गेम होगा एक अच्छा ही है। और जो लोगों का माइंडसेट है थोड़ा बहुत जो रहता है बायसनेस जो अंपायर को लेकर होती रहती थी, वो अब अवॉइड की जा सकती है। बस वही डाउन साइड है कि कभी कभी जो है मिसकैलकुलेशन या कुछ मिस वो हो जाता है, वो एक पॉसिबिलिटी है। उसके अलावा तो फायदे ही हैं।
I think on upside, I can think on many examples. कि upside में it is popularizing the game. Apart from some of the valid points he made, that it is popularizing game. And in lockdown, we were able to watch matches and spend our time, because cricket has been shifted from TV to mobile. We can watch it over your streaming sites. So it has popularized it. It has made it more popular in you can say traditional markets. Now we can visualize cricket being played in US because it is being more modern, more technologically enhanced. How it is more enhanced is that now you can analyze cricketers better. In IPL, you see Excel sheets of cricketers and whole data analytics, that how one is playing and how bowlers analyze them. So it helps in making game more and more competitive. Downside, I can think one or two is like, as he said, that human error is being reduced, but we are not very foolproof. It's not very foolproof. We are not very sure that whatever the tracker is showing, it will happen. It's basing on predictability. And we also said कि हम randomness cricket में देखते हैं, to act in and to maneuver as per the circumstances. Using technology takes away that. कि अब किस्मत का खेल थोड़ा कम रह गया है. It is more about if it's hitting the stump, it's hitting the stump. So it might take away some sort of randomness from game. It will make it more talent based, but it has more upsides than downside. That's how also I see it.
We could cite one example of perhaps Ian Morgan. There was this.
Exactly.
He was asking for TV frame to give him to analyze the dugout used to analyze the game and give him recommendations. So that is one downside, that technology reduces human ability to take decisions on your instinct and on your knowledge. Maybe. That one example we could say.
You can also give example of Henry Crony, I guess. Henry Crony used a microphone to talk to his coach in the stadium.
Yeah.
Coach was giving his directions. So cricket, they have banned using any communication devices now. You can give indirect coaching by sending a player with the pitch, but not directly communicate with the staff at the your stadium.
That one example that fits on downside of technology.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then I guess fair enough. We had a good session, I guess. बोलिए कोई कुछ कह रहा है?
एक सर और डिस्कस कर सकते हैं कि स्पोर्ट कल्चर जो है, क्रिकेट इतना ज्यादा कॉमर्शलाइज हो रहा है, इतना ज्यादा प्रमोट हो रहा है, बाकी एक्सपोर्ट्स में इंडिया काफी पीछे है, तो उस पर एक क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, कैसे आप करेंगे इम्प्रूव सिचुएशन को?
ये तो क्रिकेट का टेम्पलेट क्वेश्चन है कि सबको उम्मीद रहती है क्रिकेट इज टेकिंग अवे द रिसोर्सेज एंड द एयर टाइम ऑफ अदर स्पोर्ट्स, सो हाउ विल यू मेक अ बैलेंस? तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू लिसन कि किसको क्या कहना है, कि लेट्स से वी कैन स्टार्ट, कि आप बताओ फिर आपका क्या आंसर इसके बारे में। आदर्श, यू कैन स्टार्ट।
यस सर। सर क्रिकेट सर इतना फेमस होने का मेन रीजन है जो कल्चर है क्रिकेट को लेके, वो बचपन से ही हमें क्रिकेट वगैरह का पूरा माहौल मिल जाता है, तो ये बहुत बड़ा रीजन है।
अमर प्लीज म्यूट योरसेल्फ, आपके बैकग्राउंड से आवाज आ रही है। हाँ, नो आदर्श, यू कैन गो अहेड।
यस सर। क्रिकेट की पॉपुलैरिटी का दूसरा रीजन जो है वो उसके लिए बहुत कम इन्वेस्टमेंट हमें करना पड़ता है। सिर्फ एक बैट और एक टेनिस बॉल भी हो तो आराम से मैनेज हो जाता है गली क्रिकेट में भी। बाकी जो स्पोर्ट्स हैं, जैसे फुटबॉल को एग्जाम्पल लीजिए, तो जब तक शूज नहीं है आपके पास, फुटबॉल नहीं है, एक गोल पोस्ट नहीं है, तब तक आप बढ़िया से नहीं मैनेज कर सकते। ये सर बहुत बड़ा रीजन है क्रिकेट की पॉपुलैरिटी का। और सर जहाँ तक इनको बात है कि अन्य स्पोर्ट्स को प्रमोट करने की, तो मेरा मानना है इसके लिए भारत सरकार जैसे खेलो इंडिया यूथ गेम्स लेके आई हुई है, और इसके अतिरिक्त स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री काफी काम कर रही है, तो वो करने की जरूरत है। इसके अतिरिक्त हमें एक पूरा कल्चर डेवलप करना होगा स्पोर्ट्स का। वो फिर पूरा, वो जो कहते हैं ना कि पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे तो होगे खराब, उस वाली मेंटेलिटी को चैलेंज करना होगा। अगर हमें पूरा स्पोर्ट्स कल्चर डेवलप करना है तो फिर तब जाके सारे गेम्स डेवलप होंगे। बाकी तो ठीक है, भारत सरकार खेलो इंडिया गेम्स ला रही, बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है, उसके माध्यम से हमें आगे बढ़ना चाहिए।
इसमें ना जो आपने कोट बोला उसमें मुझे एक और याद आया। अब का एक कुछ टाइम पहले वाला था, खेलोगे कूदोगे, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे होगे खराब, खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे सानिया सहवाग।
Yes, sir.
Maybe, sir, I'd like to counter key. There's some space for other sports as well. For example, 5 years before, we had never heard of a kabaddi gaining so much popularity, but now Pro Kabaddi League has gained so much popularity. So maybe there is space for other sports to grow. There is space for other sports to gain that popularity. The need is for maybe a infrastructure proper to able to make that sport more intriguing for the audience. And there is a market for other sports as well, provided the incentives are there for that sport. Even Indian Super League football, there is some space carved out for different leagues, different sports as well, and it's growing simultaneously.
Fair enough. I think you could have given some more examples that other sports as well. Okay, I have one in mind. Let's hear first. Pankaj, what you have to add on this?
Yes. Taking forward the point, the other sports are also growing in stature. Like after London and Rio Olympics, badminton has come up very fast. People are focusing. I mean, they are channelizing their energies on sports like badminton, even kabaddi. Then hockey team which won bronze in recent Olympics. So hockey is also getting popularized. I think the reason for cricket's popularity was the watershed event was 1883 World Cup, which we won. And after that, the mood of the nation got tilted towards cricket. I think the event like we winning bronze in hockey in the recent Olympic will certainly give some impetus to sports like hockey also. As far as the investment in other sports is concerned, I think that this is where the government is now working. So Khelo India, such initiatives are going to put resources into other sports also.
Fair enough. Amar, would you like to add?
कॉमर्शलाइजेशन जरूरी है, जहां तक एक पर्टिकुलर रिम्यूनरेटिव मिल सके। जितना प्राइस आजकल जो दिया जा रहा है सैलरी पैकेजेस या एंडोर्समेंट के थ्रू जब कमाई हो रही है विराट कोहली या जो क्रिकेटर्स हैं उनके कंपैरिजन में अदर में देखा जाए तो उनका प्लेयर्स की वैल्यू, मार्केट जो वैल्यू है वो बहुत कम है। तो अगर रिम्यूनरेशन के लिए भी प्रोविजन किया जाए, एक अट्रैक्टिव अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखाई जाए, तो लगता है कि ज्यादा लोग अट्रैक्ट होंगे और उसमें भी थोड़ा सा हाई लेवल पे जाएगा। और कॉमर्शलाइजेशन जरूरी है ताकि उनको एक अच्छा सा प्लेटफॉर्म मिल सके तो प्ले।
बहुत ही अच्छे पॉइंट्स से वी ऑलमोस्ट कवर एवरीथिंग। आई लाइक टू जस्ट ऐड वन और टू पॉइंट्स ऑन दिस दैट एक तो जैसे इन्होंने बात करी कि प्रो कबड्डी लीग एंड हाउ आई सुपर लीग इज आल्सो पॉपुलराइजिंग फुटबॉल। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाई क्रिकेट इज पॉपुलर, वो पहले इन्होंने आंसर कर दिया कि जो आदर्श ने बताया था क्रिकेट इज वेरी लो इन्वेस्टमेंट स्पोर्ट एंड आल्सो देयर इज अ legacy of cricket. You have Sunil Gavaskar, Tendulkar, Kohli, you have a whole lineage of cricketers who are like father figures to sports persons. So इसलिए naturally लोग cricket खेलना start करते हैं. But with the evolution of technology, we have seen how sports is being more accessible. For example, chess पहले कोई देखता नहीं था. In lockdown we saw कि chess को लेके कुछ comedians ने शुरू किया अपने channels पे reaction देना और फिर chess की streaming start हुई. And now we are seeing that streamers are streaming chess matches and on YouTube they're getting millions of views. So chess all of a sudden has reached an audience जो उन्होंने कभी नहीं देखा था. Teenagers are watching chess. So why they are now watching chess is because chess is being made accessible. So accessibility का issue था and other sports don't have accessibility. Why they don't have accessibility? Because they lack visibility. So visibility we can improve by using technology and by using media. So how we are doing it? We have something like leagues, private leagues, kabaddi league, volleyball league. We are seeing football leagues. They're getting much more prominence. Apart from that, जो space sports का है, cricket, कोई भी sport grow करे, it will not take away the share of cricket, but rather increase the share of cricket. It's like कि अगर एक जगह एक दुकान होती है, तो अगर 10 कस्टमर आ रहे हैं, इसका मतलब नहीं 2 दुकानें खुल जाएंगी, तो अब वहां पे 5-5 बढ़ जाएंगे. कहा जाता है कि जितना कंपटीशन एक जगह बढ़ता है, the more shops you had a place, the more people will come to it. अगर एक दुकान पे पहले 10 कस्टमर आते थे, अगर 15 दुकानें खुल गई ना अलग अलग चीजों की या उसी चीज की भी, तो 50 लोग आएंगे, बिकॉज पीपल आर अवेयर नाउ कि वहां ये चीज मिलती है, तो ज्यादा लोग उस जगह पे जाते हैं सामान खरीदने. सो कॉम्पिटिशन विल इंक्रीज द फुटफॉल. So similarly, to increase other sports visibility and share, we don't need to reduce the share of cricket. Rather, cricket will contribute to other sports. Like we have cricketers sponsoring other players. Like Kohli sponsored a badminton player or a tennis player, and they are also sponsoring some badminton academies. They are sponsoring some wrestling players. So as he has rightly pointed out, that we are seeing javelin going in status just after Neeraj Chopra won a gold. We saw badminton grow up once the players became popular. We are seeing table tennis getting popular because Batra was very popular among people. So popularity and awareness grows hand in hand if we make it more visible. Now through Khelo India initiative, we have a FIFA World Cup coming up in India next year. I think under 17 FIFA World Cup is happening. So it will popularize football. So similarly, we are seeing sports league coming to India. We are seeing public investment. We are seeing private investment, and investment makes sports more visible, and it will create space for other sports as well. Not necessarily by cutting down on cricket, but rather augmenting cricket with other sports like kabaddi. After IPL, Hotstar sponsors kabaddi leagues. So kabaddi league took the space of cricket. After the IPL season, you have your kabaddi season. So that is how we should promote other sports, augmenting it with cricket if cricket is more popular than that. I guess that's how we should approach this topic. So I guess we had fair enough points on cricket now. So I guess we have to end this session now because we are almost, it's around 2 p.m. We have been here for 1 hour or so. So I guess if you guys have any other issues, you can email us. We'll help you to the best of our capabilities. So that's it. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.